Go live. Yep. Okay, we're live. I'm going to call Lloyd in just a minute. How's it going, Vaxxer? Res TV is here saying woot. Ryan Peck is here. Hello, Ryan. Hope you guys are having a great day. What's new? My water. Here's my water. I got my water. Hey, Reactor. You're from London, huh? That's cool. Hey, Randy. Lloyd sees someone. Or, not Lloyd. Vaxxer sees someone. All the people flooding in. That's right. You know, and I didn't think people would come to a 10 a.m. on a Sunday show. But that's when Lloyd and I have time. So it was very surprising to me that people come and watch the show. It's just awesome. Well, that's true, Reactor. 3 p.m. where you live. Damn you, curvature of the earth. Or maybe thank you, curvature of the earth, because maybe you wouldn't be able to be there. Randy's from Missouri. When I was in the Army, I went to basic training in Missouri, and we referred to it as misery. I can't remember the name of the base. It starts with an L. So do we. That's funny, Randy. Alright, I'm calling Lloyd now. He's giving me the go-ahead. Now he's giving me the go-ahead.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What the hell?
What the hell?
Now he's giving me the go-ahead.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wait, why am I hearing myself?
I had the YouTube video playing.
Well, look at the YouTube video.
Yeah, that looks fun.
All right. Hey guys. I can still hear myself.
On my side, really?
I think so. Hello. Yes, I'm hearing myself.
Okay, broadcast stream mix.
I'm gonna kill the stream and bring it. I'm gonna kill the stream and bring it back so that I can see if I can figure out what the hell is happening with this.
Sounds good. Oh, that's why.
All right, we're streaming again. Well, I mean, I hit start again. Let's see. There we go. Okay, everything's fine. We're all fine.
That was odd.
That was very odd. Look at that beautiful man sitting next to me. All right. Now let's pause the music, or stop the music. Everything seems to be okay. I can't hear myself twice, so that's good.
You're not setting video yet? I don't know if you're planning on it.
I am planning on it. I just forgot to.
No worries.
Windowed projector. Yes. Bam. And then... This is how the sausage is made, people. Turn on screen share. 15 480. Lloyd gets like the crappiest version of me. Sorry, Lloyd. Share. Yeah, that's right. I'm a robot. Well, actually, if I were a robot, then I would
Then I would sound like this.
There we go.
You can always be an evil robot.
Oh, I gotta fix my robot preset and make it sound better. Cranox is saying Sony was hacking our show because they don't like Stadia. Well, I can understand that. All right. Are you ready to go, sir?
Yeah. Anytime you are, sir.
I think if we give the people the show notes, we got to give them what they want, and what they want are show notes. There's the show notes, people.
Want?
Show
notes.
notes. When do we
and
want
when do they want it?
At the end of this joke.
They want the notes. Dun, 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 dun. They want the notes. Notes.
Oh, okay. There we go. I wasn't sure where you were going with that, but now I understand. Now I understand. All right. I just got to put things in order. We are recording, sir.
Okay.
And, okay. So, where's the button? There's the button. I can't see OBS. Let me put OBS over here where I can actually see it so that I can make sure we're doing the right thing. Okay. Excuse me. Let me mute this, and I will mute this so that things don't happen. And we're not ready yet. I gotta push a couple more buttons.
When it comes to space games,
whoops. Wrong
nobody
button.
compares to Atari.
Excuse me. Have you compared them to Intellivision?
Intellivision?
Sure, they've got great space
Oh my
games,
God.
like Intellivision Space Battle.
I didn't know.
I gotta set that up so that when I hit the button again, it stops it.
Right.
Instead it just plays the next one. So, all right.
I still think that clip would have been better if the guy's like, well, excuse me, but have you compared them to Atari?
Yeah.
No, I just said no one compares them to Atari.
Yeah.
And then that would have been the end of it.
The end. All right. Speaking of the end, here's the beginning. Welcome back to Stadia Cast, episode 14. It is June 23rd, 2019. I'm Bill. That's Lloyd. What's going on, Lloyd?
Not much, man. It's bright and early on a Sunday after a week from hell. So I'm glad that I'm just sitting here, not working, and talking about video games. That's kind of what I want to do today.
That's kind of what I want to do every day. But before
yeah.
we get to the fun stuff of talking about video games, let's let people know some stuff. We record this show live over at youtube.com/StadiaCast every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern. If you want to be part of the show, you can leave a voicemail for StadiaCast by heading on over to runjumpstomp.com/voicemail from any device, and we may even play it on the show. If you want to directly support our show and make it easier for us to make more content like this, go to anchor.fm/StadiaCast, click the support this podcast link, and for as little as $1, you can help us create future episodes of StadiaCast. All that stuff being said, today's a kind of a different kind of episode, isn't it, Lloyd?
Yeah, it's weird. I thought E3 would have been the floodgates would open and there'd be news after news after news, and there was a little bit at the start, but now it's kind of dried up a bit again. So we thought, like, what's going to be our topic today? And we thought, hey, why don't we do crowd play? Why don't we talk to the people and answer their questions and bring up their conversation points and then put it in podcast form.
That's right. But actually, before we do that, I just want to move my microphone out of the way. Everybody take a look at this shirt. This shirt is for sale over at runjumpstomp.threadless.com. It's a little happy cloud with a Stadia lightning bolt killing a disc, which I love this shirt. They make really good shirts over there, and that. Like, I kind of went back and forth on what to call the shirt. It's either Stadia Storm or Happy Little Cloud. But either way, you can pick up this shirt for the low price of insert your denomination here. And just go over to runjumpstomp.com or runjumpstomp.threadless.com. All right. Let's hit cloud play. You actually posted a link in the show notes today, so you want to hit us with that first link, and then we can get to the crowd play stuff.
Sure. Yeah. So at E3, there was a lot of stuff that was talked about Stadia, and Kotaku decided to put everything together in one happy little document. Not really a lot of new stuff. They kind of rolled out some of the exclusives like Baldur's Gate 3, Ghost Recon, or sorry, not exclusives, games that are coming, the non-exclusive games. Baldur's Gate 3, Ghost Recon, Guilt, Division 2, some of that stuff we already know. But there was one little thing that a lot of people have been asking, like what's going to happen about Stadia as from an account perspective, because you basically have to sign up with your Google account, and a Google account is for one person. You can have a family account on the Android store, the Google Play Store, but is that going to come to Stadia? And it seems like from this document and a couple other interviews that I saw, down the road, they're going to unveil family accounts. So you're going to be able to control what your kids play. But then there was also some talk about family sharing. And unfortunately, there's just talk about it. There's nothing specific, nothing that Google has come out and put into writing on their website anywhere. So I guess the big question is, are we still going to be able to share games with our family members? And are we going to be able to play them at the same time like you can on PlayStation? And I believe Xbox can do that as well.
Oh, I didn't know Xbox could do that as well. I know that you can't do it on Steam and you can't do it on Nintendo, but on PlayStation you absolutely can. And that has caused me to buy a lot more digital games on PlayStation than I would have otherwise, because I can buy it once, and both I upstairs on my PS4 Pro and my son downstairs on his PS4, we can play the game not only at the same time, but we can play the game together. And that is just that has sold a lot more games on PlayStation for me than when I could have bought them some other place. So, you know, hopefully Google keeps that in mind when they do whatever it is that they're going to do for their family sharing plan. I know that the Steam family sharing plan is kind of a disaster. If so, like, if I'm not playing on my account and my son wants to play one of my games, then it's fine. But if I'm playing a game on my account and my son wants to play, like, he can't play any of the games, or if he's currently playing and I try to start playing a game on my account, even if it's a different game, it kicks him off. And that's not the right way to do things. It's also very confusing because my son requested many times, can I play Five Nights at Freddy's? And I was like, I don't know much about that game. I know it's supposed to be scary. He's 11, and I'm like, okay, well, we let him watch Stranger Things, so this can't be much worse. So it was on sale a while ago through Humble Bundle. And if you guys don't know what Humble Bundle is, it's a fantastic place to buy PC games. But it was on sale through Humble Bundle through like this horror pack, and I ended up getting the horror pack because there was a game in there that I wanted to play, and it also came with the Freddy's whatever stuff, which I've never played. I ended up loading it up and checking it out. I was like, yeah, I don't think it's too bad. He can probably play this. So I went down to his computer and I tried to install it, and I couldn't find it in the list. Some games are flagged for family sharing on Steam, and some games must not be, because no matter what I did, because what you have to do on Steam is on the main account you have to say, I'm going to move this into family games, and then it's okay to be shared. And then you go to the other computer and you say, okay, look at in this case RJS's games, because that's my account name is RJS. Look in RJS's games and install from there. And it wasn't listed there. And it was very, very frustrating because he was like, well, I thought that you had it. I thought that we could play it. And now if I want him to play it, now I have to spend money. And I already bought it once and didn't want to play it. It just came with a bundle. I certainly don't want to spend it or buy it twice. So I really hope that Google gets this kind of thing figured out. And I also really hope that they figure out getting saves the right way as well, because like Nintendo has a similar thing that Steam does, where I'm sorry, that PlayStation does, where you can make like, this is my primary console, and every game that I own on my primary console can also be installed on my secondary console. Okay, sounds awesome. So my immediate reaction is, let me make his Switch the primary Switch, and then every game that is on his Switch, I also have access to, right? Or, you know, I could do it reverse. Either way is fine. The problem is that then it mixes the cloud saves, and what could happen is he could then inadvertently overwrite my cloud save for a game.
Right.
So, you know, all of these things, I get it. It's hard to figure this stuff out, but you know, Google has the all of the past stuff that we have seen that's either worked or not worked, and they can look at all of that and make something awesome. And I just really, really hope they do. Smashblock Games in chat says, one of the reasons I like to buy physical is lending out games to friends. I look forward to the day that you can lend games and movies digitally for a set amount of time and locks you out while it's lent out. What do you think about that idea, Lloyd?
That would be fantastic. You could have sort of game shares going with your friends where you have, say, 6 friends that all play games together, and each one of you buys a new game and then lends it out to the other one when you've completed it. Something like that would be fantastic in the digital age. I think that's kind of what Microsoft wanted to do back in eventually with Xbox One, with their disastrous E3 announcement, and then they clarified some things. It's like, no, you're going to be able to share, but it's going to be controlled, and you'll be loaning it out for a certain amount of time, and you can even sell it back. And when they were trying to kind of tie down that messaging a little bit before they decided to just walk the whole thing back, something like that would be fantastic. I don't know. I just really wonder what these vendors are gonna, or these publishers are gonna allow. I'm actually surprised that Game Share works as well as it does on PlayStation 4, where you can have 2 consoles can play the exact same game at the exact same time. So you buy, I don't know, Destiny 2, and you could play on 2 different accounts at the same time. I'm still amazed that that works. If we could get something like that at Stadia, I think that would be good for a lot of people, even without being able to actually like click the loan this to my friend button. I think that would be a good way to go, but I really wonder what the publishers are going to allow, or if Stadia is going to put their foot down and say, hey, we do this on Android, we're going to do it on Stadia.
And that's definitely something that, you know, we do have past precedent that family sharing works on Android and it works on iOS, you know, that kind of thing. I had a point that I was going to make, and now I've forgotten it, but that's okay. Oh, you know what? I wanted to say, you don't often hear me say nice things about Sony. So the fact that they got that right is incredibly impressive to me. Back to chat, random says, I really want to be able to share games. I'm giving the buddy pass to my daughter, and it would and be good if she can also share my library. That's a really good point. I think the something that we have to keep in mind that I think people are still a little shaky on is somewhere in the fine print. I think we talked about it when we had Patrick Beja on the show, is that the buddy pass, that you get sent your buddy pass within 6 months or something. Do you remember this, Lloyd?
Yeah, it said the fine print, your buddy pass will be emailed to you within 6 months of the Founders Edition launching or something like that.
Right. So you and your daughter, Mr. Random, they might not, like, you might not be able to play together at the beginning, which is absolutely terrible. Like, that is a huge letdown, because just like Random, I was going to give my buddy pass to my son. I mean, I probably still will, but like, then we could have played games together, and now it seems like we won't be able to. And I almost wonder if it's because Stadia like will be locked to the Founders Edition at first in order to more easily control the experience. And so you have to have the Stadia controller, and you have to have the Chromecast Ultra, which luckily both of those things come with the Founders Pack. But maybe I won't be able to sit down at my PC and play Stadia games right at first. I mean, we just don't know, because Google is being really, really quiet about this. Anything else that you want to add, Lloyd, before we move on to all of the YouTube comments and tweets and stuff?
Just that Google spokespeople have come out and said that there will be some form of family sharing at some point, and we will give you this information. So we at least know it's coming. So I know that was a fear for the first little bit. It's like, well, I don't want to have my whole family log into my Google account because they'll get access to my email and all this other stuff. So there is going to be provisions there for some form of family sharing. So now we just have to sit there and wait a little bit to figure out what those details are. The whole buddy pass thing's a mess. Hopefully that gets sorted out at the exact same time. But I think as much as we do know about Stadia, there's a million times more information that we don't know. So it's going to be a busy time as we move between now and November when the Founders Edition launches.
And that's why you want to keep subscribing to this show, because we're going to talk about all this stuff over and over, and come up with every different permutation of our prognostication for what's going on with Stadia. Actually, before we get to the feedback, we've got more stuff happening in chat, and this is what do we call it? Crowd play.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give credit to Lloyd, because I was an idiot. Okay. We were talking about what are we going to talk about on this episode, and I said, well, how about we just read some YouTube comments and reply to them? And he's like, that's a great idea. And I was like, we could call it Stadia Statements, because I love alliteration. And Lloyd was like, Bill, we could call it crowd play. And I was like, oh my God, you're an idiot, Bill. Anyway,
the only reason why I said crowd play was that I couldn't actually edit the image from the press conference to say crowd say. So I just said, yeah, let's call it crowd play. That's easy. That's why.
All right. Well, we're both idiots. But that being said, before we get to crowd play, let's talk about what people are saying in chat. Terza Reactor says, I don't understand why it takes so long to provide a buddy pass. It must be an access precaution. And I think that they're trying to keep the number of people down so that everybody who spent the $129, whatever it was, who spent that money on the Founders Pack has a fantastic experience the first time around, and then they're going to slowly distribute the buddy passes as server resources become what's the word I'm looking for, like freed. Like they're no longer being used. They're like, okay, people aren't playing as much because it's not brand new. Let's start sending out buddy passes, and I bet you they do it in waves, and they'll be like, hey everybody, we're going to do, this is wave 1 of the buddy pass release, because that way they stay in the news cycle for a longer period of time. It's very manipulative, and you know what, that's what you got to do these days. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and it would also allow them to have a better look at their infrastructure and see if there's any problems and fix it when there's tens of thousands of people playing, not tens of millions of people playing. It's easier to fix the problems that way. So yeah, they're gonna roll it out. In chat, I said the Founders Edition is basically a closed beta. So you're paying access to this closed beta. You're gonna get access for a couple of months before the general public. They're gonna iron out all these bugs, and then they're gonna ramp it up and allow the free version to kind of go out to the masses, which is probably gonna even cause their infrastructure to crumble a little bit as they try to figure out. I don't know how many actual people are going to be using Stadia at launch.
Right. Smashblock Games says, do you expect another large Stadia Connect to help iron out the details before the November launch? Lloyd, I'm going to let you go first.
Sorry, I'm locked. I was in the middle of a thing. Could you take that one?
Yeah, sure. Yes, I absolutely expect another Stadia Connect before November. In fact, I think I expect multiples. I don't think that they will be as long as that first one, because that first one had a lot of stuff to unveil. But I think every time that, or as we march forward, that's kind of the reason why we were so light on details this first time around. Because they have to hold stuff back, because if they give all of the details in June, what the hell are we going to talk about until November? Like, what, we already know everything. And
Exactly.
They need to keep that conversation going and going and going. They're manipulating the news cycle. So as soon as the talk about Stadia starts to take a nosedive, fully expect for Google to have, and we're going to do another Stadia Connect next week. News, all the news stuff shoots right back up. People are speculating and prognosticating about what is going to happen. We get the news, everybody's talking about it. They wait for it to die down again. As soon as it dies down, another Connect, so that it goes back up.
Yep.
And so that's how they control what that graph of what the Stadia conversation looks like. Anything to add there?
Yeah, I think we'll at least get another 2 Connects before launch. There'll be one kind of in the middle, and then there'll be one at the launch. Like, this is all the final launch details. I hope we get more, but I'm thinking at least 2. Just if I had to predict, but we know how good our predictions have been on this show. Google is kind of doing stuff their own way, so we'll see what kind of shakes out there.
A Cranox in chat says Phil Harrison needs to come to this show and share some Stadia features. Listen, a Cranox and everybody who's listening, if you want that to happen, then you have to tell him, because he's not. Why is he going to listen to me? I'm just some bald guy. So you guys all tell Phil Harrison. I think he's at Phil Harrison on Twitter or something. Make sure it's the right guy first, and don't be annoying or anything, but say, hey, you should go on Stadia Cast. That's like the best podcast ever, or something like that. Soundwave 1 says things are subject to change between now and November when Stadia launches. Google might activate Buddy Pass at launch. Who knows? You're right.
Yep.
We don't know what's happening. We're just going off what they have told us in the fine print. They said up to 6 months.
That's right.
That could be they could be day one. That could be the week after. It could be a million things. It could be 6 months on the dot. There's a lot of different ways that we can look at that. And Cranox says he's going to ask Mr. Phil Harrison to come on the show on Twitter. That's awesome.
That's great.
Terza Reactor says, why do you guys think Ubisoft is so hot for Stadia? Lloyd, you want to take that?
It's a good question. That's kind of been what Ubisoft's done lately. Like the Switch, they're all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we're supporting the Switch, and they come out with a bunch of games. I think Ubisoft is just keen to find new places for their games. They want to find new markets to sell video games, and they've done really well. Like they've done that on every console launch for, I think, the last generation. Even the Wii U, they had a bunch of stuff available at launch. So I think they like to be there day one. They like to put a bunch of stuff out, and if it becomes a big seller for them, then they continue to support it like crazy. The Wii U wasn't a big supporter for them, so they kind of cut all ties except for Just Dance, which they don't even bring out now. They bring it out on the Wii, which is kind of funny. So I think that's just the way Ubisoft likes to do business. They like to kind of flood the market on a new console, sell a bunch of games, and then sort of see where they're going to support it from here on out.
Okay, we talked about crowd play. We said we were going to get your thoughts from our YouTube videos and tweets and all that stuff, and we're going to do that. But first, we're going to thank our sponsors. And when we get back, it's time for your voices. Let's hear them.
Buy a ColecoVision and a Coleco game cartridge by November 15th. We'll send you a free Cabbage Patch Kid by Christmas.
And welcome back. It's called crowd play. I know in the show notes it says feedback. I'm going to have to fix that, but it's crowd play. It's all of the things that you guys think. Lloyd, you want to tackle our first tweet?
Sure, yeah. This first tweet is from Smashblock Games on Twitter. The question, or a statement, I guess, this is why Stadia is attractive to people, for everyone complaining about it. And it's a nice image of a update bar on a PlayStation with 93 megs of 12 gigs, 4 hours left, which is the perfect image. Those are going to go away with Stadia. There's no updates. All the updates happen in the background on the on the server side. You just click a link, you're playing a game. It doesn't matter if a patch came out 5 days ago or 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy 14, and if you think that was bad, oh my God. Did you ever play Final Fantasy 14, Lloyd?
No, never.
Okay, so
Never.
that game, first off, is huge. And Square, they have like little hamsters running around in the hamster wheel running their servers. Like their gameplay servers run fine. I've never really had a problem when I've played Final Fantasy 14, but downloading it took days. And I'm not even, and listen guys, I have 300 down, 25 up. I've got very, very good internet in my house. Didn't matter because it's only as fast as the packets are sent to you. You can't make it faster. And Square didn't care. They already got my money when I bought the game. So they didn't care how fast the game downloaded. And literally I had to wait for days. There's been a few times that I've stopped playing Final Fantasy 14. I've never uninstalled that game because I'm terrified at the idea of re-downloading it. No, thank you. That's insane.
You know why this is happening. The slow speeds for that game is because all the people that were supposedly working on Final Fantasy VII, instead they're sitting at their cubicle. They have a big keyboard in front of them with two keys, a 1 and a 0, and they're looking at paper beside them, and they're hitting 100, 1000, 11000, and you have an individual person that is giving you your updates, one key press at a time.
If anybody out there is artistically talented, I would love to see a depiction of what Lloyd just described. Somebody there with a giant keyboard with 1s and 0s. Tweet them at us at Stadia Cast. Speaking of tweets, we got one from Anthony Talcott. You want to read that one?
Sure. Cue for the podcast. Google unveiled that you can now buy the controller for $69. If given the option, would you have gotten just the controller and now not the Founders Pack? So yeah, thanks, Anthony. Do you want to take this one, or you want me to jump in here?
Yeah, sure. I'll jump in here. I'm kind of, I definitely think it should have been an option. If you already have a Chromecast Ultra or Ultimate, what's it called?
Ultra, I think.
Ultra.
Yeah.
Okay. If you already have a Chromecast Ultra on every TV in your house, you kind of got screwed with the Founders Pack. I was lucky. I have a Chromecast Ultra upstairs. Downstairs on the TV that has become the kids' TV, that has the original Gen 1 Chromecast. So when this came out, I was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. I wanted to get a better Chromecast for the kids' TV anyway. So this just made perfect sense to me. But if you're not like me and didn't have a need for that Chromecast, then you are getting totally screwed by this. And they should have given us the option to buy just the controller as a Founders Pack. Like maybe two Founders Pack. A Founders Pack that comes with a controller and nothing else, and a Founders Pack that comes with a Chromecast Ultra and the one that we ended up getting. Lloyd, how you feel about this?
Yeah, I would love if we had the choice, because I don't have a 4K TV. I've said it a few times on the show. So I don't really need a Chromecast Ultra. I'd rather just play on my PC. If I'm going to be playing on a 1080p screen, I'd rather play on a big one that's sitting right in front of me. I understand why they did it. It's just more kind of gatekeeping and flow limiting for them. They want to price this at not $50 so that you get less people that are jumping in day one, so they can kind of slow roll out this process. I get it. I would have loved the options. They're selling the controller now separately, so you can buy a $69 controller, whatever the cost of it is, but that doesn't get you Founders access. It doesn't get you access to Stadia, so it's just giving you the option to buy a second controller if you want one for your house. So eventually that will be all you have to buy, or you don't even have to buy that. You can just play on your PC with keyboard and mouse. So just another part of their slow rolling out Stadia to the masses.
Are you going to buy an extra controller?
I don't know. It all depends. Like I'm gonna have to see what my habits are gonna be. If I'm gonna be playing Stadia in front of the TV more, or in my computer room more, like my podcast office that I have here. Because if I'm gonna be playing here, there really isn't a lot of room for another person to sit beside me. So, and plus I love the Founders Blue one that you can only get with the Founders Pack. It's exclusive.
That's right. You get the Founders Blue one, and the kids get the see-through green one.
That's right.
That's how it works. Speaking of the Chromecast and where you're going to be sitting to play the game, Sofa Spy in chat says Chromecast doesn't have a UI and requires a device to cast from to the TV. Google said the Stadia app will only be available on Pixel at first. Will there be another way to cast to a TV besides a computer? This is a fantastic question. It's actually something I've been thinking about a lot lately because we use the Chromecast all the time. We have Google Home at our house. So we say, hey, keyword, play Cobra Kai on the TV, or hey, keyword, play Predator on the living room TV, or what, hey, keyword, pause, and it just pauses, and hey, keyword, resume, and it resumes, all without touching a thing. This idea of how is it that you're going to like our controller has Wi-Fi, right?
Yep.
How does it decide which screen you're casting from or casting to, I guess? So how does it know if I like that? This is the question that really needs to be answered, is how do I get it to go onto my damn TV without a phone? Now, Google has said that it's only going to be on Pixel. You're only going to be able to play on Pixel. But I'm sure that there's going to be a way. I'll bet you the default, when you first turn on your Chromecast controller, the default will be, oh, you know what? I think I figured it out. If you're using the controller, there's only one way to play on the TV, and that's with the Stadia controller with the Chromecast Ultra. There's no other option, right? So if you've got that, you can probably hold down the Google Assistant button and say, I want to play on this screen or whatever, or go to your go over to your PC and you open it up. I'll bet you they'll have like a UI that way. What do you think, Lloyd?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What they're probably going to do is right at launch is they're going to pair those two together. So you'd hold the assistant button on your controller, say, okay, blah, let's play some Stadia. And then all of a sudden your Chromecast will fire up, maybe even with a UI. Who knows if they can cast a UI and you can choose your game that way, that is in your library. Or maybe down the road, they'll have just a rudimentary UI on the Chromecast Ultras that will show a YouTube link or a Stadia link and allow you to choose that way. That would be a pretty big change to their product. I had totally not even thought about how we're going to do that, because I haven't had a Chromecast in my house since the very first one. They were selling for like $19 or whatever. So it's been a very long time since I've used one of those things. So yeah, very interesting question. One that didn't even pop in my mind earlier. So yeah, thanks for putting that in chat, Sofa Spy.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. We've got some YouTube comments. YouTube.com/StadiaCast. You can make comments, and we may feature them on the show as part of our crowd play. So we got this first one. They're not in order or anything, but there's just the order that I screenshotted them. We got this first one from Ed Burton. It was on our Stadia Cast episode 13. And he says, thanks for making this content. Excited to see how things go for cloud gaming. I was an OnLive user. It was never my primary way to game, but it was how I played through Deus Ex, HR?
Human Revolution.
Oh, I was thinking Human Resources. Deus Ex, you're fired! Back in the day. It felt like the future then, even when it wasn't exactly an amazing experience. So I can only imagine how much better it will be how much better it will be now with Stadia. I'm fortunate enough to have AT&T fiber at my place. I hate you, by the way. It's stupid fast with a 2 millisecond ping as well. So I can't wait for cloud gaming future. Peace. What do you think, Lloyd? You added this one to the show?
Yeah, I think it's a great comment. Thanks, Ed Burton, for leaving us a great comment on our video on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, OnLive, a lot of people liked OnLive, even with all the problems that they had. And now it's going to be interesting to see kind of the contrasting opinions when Stadia launches, because OnLive was slow. It had one data center. Stadia is fast and it has all the data centers. So it's going to be really interesting to see kind of what the news story is going to be once the Founders Edition gets released into the world.
Did you ever use OnLive?
I did not use OnLive. It wasn't available in Canada when it first launched. I watched some people recording themselves using it, and it looked good until your controller would just kind of disconnect, like it would lose control, and it did some predictive stuff. So you would be just kind of running off, and then you're hitting a wall, and then all of a sudden you get your control back and stuff like that. So there was some humor in some of the videos that were put out there right around launch. But yeah, no, it wasn't available at launch here in Canada, so I never got around to playing it.
Damn you, Canada. You want to take this next, read this next one for us from Joseph?
Sure. Joseph Santero, for me as an adult with a lot of responsibilities, my gaming time varies. I may have a lot of time this month, but it may change next month. If I'm subscribed rather to a gaming service, I would feel that I would not be getting my money's worth if I didn't have enough time to play. On the other hand, if I have a physical copy, I know that it's going to be there and up to me to play the game when I have the time. I wouldn't feel pressured in finding time to play my gaming subscription. And yeah, Joseph, thanks for that awesome comment. And that is something that I'm hearing a lot, where people are and just like you last week, Bill, where you're like, you feel there's a mental block to subscription gaming instead of just paying for a game or paying for like WoW time or something like that. And all that stuff will eventually shake out. I felt the same when I was a Netflix user with the DVDs. And I'd get a DVD and it would sit there, and it would sit there for a week, and it would sit there for 2 weeks, and it would sit there for a month, and I'm like, oh my god, I got to watch this movie and send it back. And then you'd finally send it back and realize that you paid like $8,000 for this one movie that you didn't even like anyway. And then it switched over to streaming, and I don't feel any stress. It's just another bill that I pay every month, and it's there when I want it, and it's not there, or it's still there even if I don't have time for it. And that kind of worry is kind of peeled away from me, which is good. I'm hopeful that subscription gaming like this will be kind of the same thing.
I feel like subscription gaming, like in terms of like World of Warcraft, has always been the big one for me. And the problem with it is having a subscription to World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy or Elder Scrolls or Anarchy Online or any other subscription MMO. I always felt like, okay, I have to play this game because I'm paying a subscription for it. And so all of the other games that I would have, they would kind of fall to the wayside, and I would focus my time into this out of like some kind of guilt, like this mental guilt. You paid $15 for it for this month. You better get your damn money's worth. Okay, Bill. Well, guess what? I also paid $60 for this other game that I'm not touching. So, like, what's your problem? And I always have had that issue. When it comes to Stadia and having a subscription, first off, the subscription is optional. People keep forgetting that. You don't have to pay $10 a month for Stadia. It's just a store. The subscription is for extra crap that may or may not be compelling. So you don't have to have the subscription. But let's say that you did have to have the subscription. You're subscribing and you would have access to multiple things. It's not just one thing. So I think that mental block that I have when it comes to subscribing to a game like World of Warcraft or Anarchy Online or Asheron's Call, whatever it be, like I feel like that's less of a problem because it's for multiple things. But let's all remember that the subscription is optional. Before we go on to the next one, I added these two comments in here because they confused me, and I want Lizards to explain. I need an explanation, Lizards. Lizards posted back on episode 2. They said, my boomer sensors are tingling. And I was like, okay. I just kind of ignored it. I don't know what that means. And then on episode 13, 5 days ago, they said boomer vibes. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. I would love to know. Is he just calling us old? Like baby boomers? I'm not a baby boomer. I'm old, but I'm not a boomer.
I don't know. I'm Googling it and I'm scared. So
No,
I'm
don't Google it.
I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave it and pretend that I've never done that, and just pretend that I'm not as old as I really am.
All right. So Lizards, feel free to let us know what the hell you're talking about, man. Why don't you tell us what Doug Jacobson is talking about?
Sure. Doug Jacobson left us a comment about a week ago and said, what do you tell people who complain that they don't have ownership of the physical game? I personally don't care and am thankful that I won't have the clutter. I think Google is doing me a huge favor. Thanks, Doug, for sending that in. And yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think we talked about this last week. I'm getting to the point where this kind of stuff is nice, but I'd rather not have this kind of stuff. I've gotten rid of all my videos and all my music. And getting rid of some of my newer games would be fine. And on the PC now, do people even buy physical versions of PC games, or is everything just through? Like big boxes a lot of times just contain like the art book and the manual and a map and then a download code for Steam. So I think on PC that's probably the market that is the most easily swayed, that you don't have ownership of your game, or you don't have physical media for the game. So for me, I just tell people gaming is going the way of music and video, and if you don't like it, cool, you can still buy CDs, you can buy vinyl, you can buy cassette tapes if you really want, you can buy DVDs, you can buy VHS tapes, you can buy Blu-ray and whatever old laser discs if you want to collect those things. That stuff isn't going to go away, but new games maybe won't be available in the media that you want.
Yeah, and that is very true, and something to think about. Something else to think about is we haven't really had ownership of games for a long time. Sure, if you have a disc, then you have ownership of the disc. You don't really own the game. The disc is a license. I saw a tweet the other day, which I wish I had clipped it or taken a screenshot of it, but I was busy at the time and I didn't really think about it. Do you remember that horror game that Hideo Kojima was working on? And PT, which stood for
it was what a playable trailer, I think is what they called
it. Was it a Siphon Filter or something?
No, a Silent Hill.
Silent Hill, sorry. It starts with an S, whatever. So does Stadia. Starts with an S. That's the name of our show. So Siphon Filter, playable trailer. I saw somebody who owned, okay? They owned that. And they were unable, like it said, unable to download or unavailable for download because that has been removed. And that same thing has happened to me on iOS, where I have purchased a game. I think it was Undercroft. You ever play Undercroft?
Don't believe so.
It's an old. Okay, so I guess the best example of what it would be like. First person dungeon crawler where you've got like a party. I can't think of the damn name of. Lloyd is breaking things in the background. What is he doing?
Breaking things, apparently.
Yeah, a first person dungeon crawler, and Undercroft was on iOS, and you would go through and play it, and you can't find it anymore because it's no longer updated. What did you grab behind you? He keeps bending down.
I was just grabbing some stuff to make my point.
Point it out. Let's hear it.
Okay. Well, let's show you two different types of licenses we have with video games. So we have old cartridges. The whole entire game is on this thing. There's no patching. There's no nothing. As long as you have a console to play, you can play this. You can play Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt on your TV with your NES with this. And then we look at a game like this one. This is a bad example because the data's on this one. But let's pretend this is Doom. Let's pretend this is another game on the Nintendo Switch where the cartridge has a little bit of data, but then you're downloading huge piles of data from the internet. they can at any point get rid of that, and it's gone, and the game that you have, the physical version, may not work. This recently happened on the Switch with the Minecraft story mode games, where they're gone. You may have bought them, they're gone. You can't download them digitally. If you bought the physical version of the cartridge, it only contains the first episode. All the other episodes you'd be downloading, they're gone. You can't download them anymore on the Nintendo Switch.
Right, because the company went out of business.
Exactly. So our idea of like you own a physical thing is kind of flawed in some regards, because you don't really own that physical thing. You own a key to the physical thing, because so much of our video game now is a day one patch and future updates that come down the pipe. So we've kind of given up ownership of games a generation ago.
I agree. We really did. And that's too bad, but what are you going to do? You know, the technology marches forward, things change. There's always going to be those of us who sit there and say, I remember back in the day when you owned your video games. And, you know, there's going to be the other ones who are like, get out of the way, Grandpa. I can download any song that I want from the air. And I can play any game that I want from the air, and I don't have to worry about physical media. Hence why this shirt that I'm wearing is so awesome. It's a cloud lightning striking the physical media, the disc, who looks sad and dejected. So buy those shirts. Anyway, Terza Reactor 1 month ago, excuse me, they commented on episode 8. On episode 8, we talked about Google I/O, and well, not really. There wasn't anything at Google I/O for us to talk about. We ended up talking more about if we wanted Stadia or Google to curate the store. And Terza Reactor said, I think Google will definitely curate content like a traditional console. While they want and need games, they don't want to fill Stadia with subpar trash. I love that phrasing, subpar trash. What do you think, Lloyd? Do you think that that's what's going to happen? We've talked about this before. Go back and listen to other episodes, but sum it up real quick.
Yeah, I think for the first little bit at least, the games that you have available on Stadia are going to be kind of AAA or indie darlings. I think they're going to open things up more in the future. They might even have like a game creation suite where you can make your own games and make them available for people down the road for like educational purposes. But I think initially it's going to be very controlled and very PR friendly. So it's going to be the best games in the best genres from the best developers. But then down the road, I think they will open that up.
And I agree. And again, go back and listen to our episode where we talked extensively about how this would work. But I think it's better for them to be very, very closed at first and slowly open it as time goes on. I think that that's going to work more in their favor. I do want to ping pong back to Doug Jacobson's comment for a little bit, just because we got some comments in chat in response to what we were saying. So Chris Banana, I'm sorry, Chris, you're going to have to tell me the phonetic saying, otherwise I'm just going to say Chris Banana. Chris Banana says, even if you own the disc, they can still turn off the multiplayer servers, and he links to a Kotaku article, which I'm trying to open up. Oh, I did open it up. I'm trying to open up right now, and it says Naughty Dog is hold on, I closed things that I didn't want to close. I can't see things. There we go. Naughty Dog is taking Uncharted and The Last of Us PS3 multiplayer servers offline. I know, I'm a broken record. I've seen this happen a million times with things like MMOs. Asheron's Call. You can't play it anymore. The world is now off. There are ways for you to get to like emulated servers, but that game is now unplayable without jumping through some really, really extensive hoops. Uncharted and Last of Us PS3 multiplayer, that stuff is gone. And this happens a lot. The more and more as games depend on online stuff, that stuff's going to go away eventually. And that's an argument that a lot of people say against Stadia, because they're like, what if Google shuts everything off? Then I've lost all of my investment. And to them, I would say, Okay, but did you have fun when you were playing it? And if the answer is yes, then you probably got your money's worth. Because for me, I understand why I can't remember who made the game, but why Dark Age of Camel, or no, that's a bad example. I think you could still play that game. But why Asheron's Call got shut down. Nobody was playing it. Same with Asheron's Call 2. Nobody was playing it. And it's just like these companies are bleeding money by for like 10 people or whatever. I understand why they would shut those servers down, but I had a lot of fun playing those games when I was playing them, even though I paid for that game and I paid subscription to access that game. Like, that's money I'll never get back, but in return, I got to have a fun time. And people have to stop thinking of this as you pay for something and then you should have access to it forever. Okay, I understand that. But does everybody scream at the top of their lungs every month when a bunch of stuff gets taken off Netflix? Or when I remember when I was a kid, we had HBO, and you would get out the TV guide and you would say, okay, on HBO, this day at this time is going to be this movie, and I want to see this movie, and I want to see this movie. And you would circle the movies that you want to see and when you're going to watch them, because the next month, those movies are gone and new movies are in their place. This is not a new problem. What do you think, Lloyd?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's going to just be, it's just going to be a change in the way that people think of video games. Like if you have a bunch of PlayStation 2 games, and your console breaks, well, you've lost access to those PlayStation 2 games. You can go buy another PS2 if you want. You can do that. Same with all the modern consoles. Even if you had the physical copy, you're limited to having hardware to play them on. It's like with, say, N64, you need an old CRT television to play these games. If you don't have a CRT, you've essentially lost access to those games, even though you have the physical thing in front of you. And it's kind of the same with servers. If Google takes the service down, you've lost all your games. But if Netflix goes down, you've lost access to your movies and the 10 years of money that you've given Netflix, right? It's just a different way of looking at in entertainment. And it's not an ownership thing. You're paying to play, you're paying to have fun. And when you're not paying anymore, you don't get to have fun. If the service goes down, well, you just move on to another service. It is going to take a while for people to get into that mindset. And I fully understand that there's going to be a lot of people that are never going to get in that mindset. They want to own their physical things. It goes back to what I said before. People are still going to buy their Blu-rays and their CDs and all the other physical media for stuff where digital is just way more convenient for most people. There's people that are going to be like that, and that's fine. They just won't be able to play on Stadia, and they'll have to deal with maybe their favorite game of all time, favorite franchise, only ever being available on Stadia, and having to make that decision if they want to buy in at that time or not.
The thing that I want to make sure that I say is that I don't want anybody to think that I don't think that that's a real concern. I do think it's a real concern. It does concern me that Google seems to have the attention of a squirrel. And it's like, well, we're going to work on this for a while and then we're going to move on to something else. Do I think that they're going to toss Stadia in the trash in the next couple of years? No, because they're putting way too much money into it. And the things that they've thrown away, like Google Reader and Google Glass, like those things, the reason that they threw them away is because, first off, they didn't make any money, and they were not an industry. Like, the video game industry makes more than all of TV, makes more than all of film. The video game industry is a money maker, and Google looks at that and they say, listen, we're going to get into this video game thing, and we're going to commit to it. They're going to get a return on their investment. They're not going to try it for a month and say, oh man, I guess those founders packs didn't sell very well, let's shut everything down. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that they're going to be in this for the long haul. And even if someday that they shut it down, at least I got to play it while honestly, what'll probably happen is I will probably stop playing Stadia before they shut down Stadia, because as long as people are playing, they're going to keep going. especially because they already have these servers up and running for YouTube and stuff like that. All right, before we get out of here, before we do the outro, anybody from chat that you want to respond to? Because chat's going really good today.
Yeah, chat's kind of blowing up. So Bob Stanky says, I'm mostly a mobile gamer nowadays. I would say 75% mobile, 25% console. I am a Stadia founder with the hope that mobile will work well. I've been a Note user since the Note 2, but would move to the Pixel if that is a longer exclusive. But I would think that given Google's relationship with Samsung, their phones would get it sooner rather than later. Thoughts? Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Bob. I think we're going to get Stadia on every mobile device. It's going to be on iOS. It's going to be on every version of Android, because it's essentially just a Chrome web stream is what Stadia is going to be, with the ability to hook up a controller to it, whether it's the Stadia controller or some other controller. I think this is just a way of limiting things right at launch as well. So you need to be a Stadia founder to play Stadia at launch. And if you are a mobile user, you have to have this one device. They can make sure that it's working 100% for these test cases across all of the US, Canada, and UK, where it's made available on day one. And then eventually they're going to just say, okay, it's available to anyone, any device, any whatever. You're going to have a Stadia app on your phone, on your iOS phone. You're going to have a Stadia app on the Google Play Store that you download. It's going to be available on PC. It's going to be available on all sorts of TVs through Chromecasts. I think that's just another way of kind of gatekeeping for the first little bit.
I completely agree. All right, before we get out of here, I want to thank the following people. I got my iPad here. I'm looking at the podcast app, and I want to thank the following people for giving us 5-star ratings on Apple Podcasts. We've got Merkin Gamer, Elvis the Cat, Jax Rage, Nick Didis Jr., Justin 1289, and Leo NSF. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the 5-star review. We appreciate it. If you want to follow the show on Twitter and get all of the stuff that way, you can follow us on Twitter at Stadia Cast. You can follow me at Run Jump Stomp, and you can follow Lloyd at...
You can follow me at Dasme, Dasme.
And both Lloyd and I have a bunch of different shows. So if you want to make sure that we're in the right mindset when we read your tweet, use the hashtag StadiaCast. It makes it easier for us to say, oh, this is about Stadia. So let's make sure that we include it there. We'd like to thank the unofficial Discord server of the official Stadia subreddit for letting people know about our show. You can check that out over at bit.ly/Stadia Discord. The music you are about to hear is Subterranean Kamikaze by Zircon. Check out their stuff at zirconstudios.bandcamp.com. Lloyd, I'll see you next time.
Have a good week, everybody.
Bye-bye. All right, we're back. Time for the post show.
Alrighty.
File save. All right.
Time for me to fix all the things I broke.
He knocked the things down. If Google takes Stadia down, that means no one is playing and it's a failure. Google would never take it down if it's successful. And Soundwave, a lot of people would respond to that with Google Reader. But Google Reader didn't make Google any money. Like, that's the argument that people would say. They'd say, well, Google Reader was the best RSS reader that there was, and Google killed that. But Google Reader didn't make Google any money. That's the thing that people have to understand. If this is successful, Google is going to make so much money from it. And it's not just from that $10 subscription. It's from the ads that are served on the YouTube channels that are going to be created because...
looks like there's a problem.
There's no problem. Hey, Google, stop. What the hell was I talking about before Google interrupted me? I knew they were listening to us.
They're in our heads.
I don't remember what the hell I was saying, but that's okay. I was saying something. Let's see. What else is...
The making money with Reader thing you were talking about.
Yeah. So, you know, they're going to be making money on YouTube. they're going to be making money probably, let's say that I am a successful streamer on Google Stadia. Well, we already know that Google gives, like, if you have enough subscribers on YouTube, they give you the option to allow people to join your YouTube, kind of like subscribing on Twitch, and they get a cut of that. Okay. So that's another way that they can make money on this. Listen, Google is a company, and they've positioned Stadia to make them just out of money. So much money. They're going to make a lot of damn money on this. And that's why it's going to be around for a long time. What else were people saying? Where can we donate to your stream? Bob, yeah, use the link anchor.fm/StadiaCast. Here, I can show you if I can bring it up. Let me show you how to do it. Anchor.fm/StadiaCast. And once it comes up, if you click on this button right here, support this podcast, it pops up. You can either do 99 cents per month, and you can obviously cancel after 1 month if you want, $4.99 per month, or if you're a crazy person, $9.99 per month, which gives us 13% more per dollar. Okay, whatever. Honestly, I love the idea that you want to support the show. It really is awesome. The best way to support the show is share it with a friend and download every damn episode on every device you own. Anything else before we get out of here, Lloyd?
No, I'm just I'm going back. Like, there's so much chat today. It was fantastic.
It was great.
All you folks are wonderful people. I love all of you, and I'm just making my way through all of them. But I think we covered most of that stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me put some music on, if I can. Where is it? There we go. No, it's not working. Oh, it's muted.
Just dancing to music in my head.
There we go. Oh, we also got a new subscriber in the middle of that. I don't know who it was, but thank you for subscribing, people. There's the music that Lloyd's dancing to right there. Subconscious by Alpheon.
Oh, wait. This way.
Yeah, right there. Oh, there you go. That's perfect. Oh, no, you screwed it up.
No, I screwed it up.
All right, man.
My fingers behind it.
Well, are you leaving?
Yeah, I'm out of here, folks. Thanks everybody for joining us for another Sunday morning Stadia stream. As I said, we love each and every one of you. Thanks for all the awesome comments, and I'll see you guys next week. And you too, Bill.
See you, Lloyd. Have a good Sunday.
Later.
Bye.
Later.
All right, guys, you're stuck with just me for now. I like to hang out a little bit longer. I have a little more opportunity. So great show. Thank you, Terza Reactor, for letting me know. The money is going to come through ads in the free games. I don't think it's going to be ads. I know that Google does a lot of ad stuff, but I don't think they're going to put ads in the games. They're going to put ads in the YouTube videos that are created from people playing the games, because when they start putting ads in the games, that's going to tick people off. That's really going to tick people off, and I don't think that Google wants to risk that. I think that would be a huge mistake. And Resden Chat said YouTube support is not available until we hit a certain number of subs. It's not just that, actually, and I know that Lloyd knows this. We have to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then we have to hit a certain number of watched hours in 365 days. Now, as long as you guys keep watching the show and keep telling your friends, we will hit that without a doubt. Like my main channel, Run Jump Stomp on YouTube, it does have the join thing. I think Lloyd's does too. I'm sure that Lloyd is able to get the join thing if he's not set it up yet or not. We don't know. I can't think of any product that Google has canceled where the consumer was actually paying money directly to Google. That's true. Basically, every game ad can be a direct playable demo that's big. You know, that's a good point, but I don't know if Google is going to make it a direct playable demo. We don't know if there's going to be demos on Stadia, and that might be something that we can tackle next week. The the idea of, can Stadia bring the demos back? In fact, I'm gonna message that to Dasmy right now. Can Stadia bring back demos? Topic for next week. There we go. Random says Google has never put ads on any paid content. This also includes purchased movies and TV. I'm trying to think. I don't know. That's interesting, because I subscribe to YouTube Premium, and on YouTube Premium, do we subscribe? Like, have I seen an ad? No, that's one of the benefits of subscribing to YouTube Premium. Smashblock wants a Connect soon. I mean, I want to connect right now. Of course, I agree. Turza Reactor says no ads. You pay for no ads. That's right. Well, I pay for access to YouTube Music and Cobra Kai. Google has a bad reputation only in the USA. I don't know if that's true. I'm sure that there's a lot of people who don't like Google. I know that like Google's constantly in trouble with European governments and stuff like that. All right, so next episode is going to be, can Stadia bring back demos? So Lloyd and I just agreed on that. So what I want you guys to do is tweet at us at Stadia Cast and let us know what are your what are the demos that you've played that have either convinced you to buy a game or convinced you to not buy a game. And I think I'm going to wrap up the show. Oh, look at that. Rezda's still here. I thought you had to go, man. That's why I told you to leave. The demo thing was a big feature at GDC. Wow, but I mean, was it did they say that like you can have a quick little playable demo? Like, a big feature at GDC was the fact that you could click on it and start playing right away. That's not showing that it was a demo. That was assuming that you were watching a video of a game that you already owned, which, let's be honest, happens all the time. Like, currently I'm playing Final Fantasy 12 and I cannot count the number of times that I've looked up, oh, what are some good gambits that I could use on there. He's doing some work at his desk with this in the background. Aw, Rez, you're awesome, dude. But I mean, yes, I understand that at GDC they were like, hey guys, we can have people playing your game from a link. Right. An ad that took you into gameplay directly, possibly of a game you already owned. They didn't specifically say that it was a demo of a game. Right, you assumed a timed demo, and so did everybody else. And I think that's probably the best thing to do, because if you're confident in your game, you know what, I don't want to get into the demo stuff because we're going to talk about it next week, and then you guys will know everything I'm going to say. All right. Well, I think it's time for me to get out of here. Thank you guys. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, hit subscribe. If you haven't already clicked on the little bell thing, click the bell so that every time that we post new stuff, you get notified, because maybe you're not going to be here next Sunday. Anyway, you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.